Hey, where's my face? I don't see my face.
They'll be on in a second.
Oh, that's right. I forgot progress.
There's a delay.
Everything's fast. All right, so you're probably wondering where my hat is. I decided to not wear it because I decided to become a Democrat. That's right. I am now officially a Democrat. And I got some land for you to buy. Okay, so as you can see, I'm here by myself tonight. Not really by myself. I have the K-Man who runs this whole thing. Without him, this wouldn't be happening. And I have Mrs. K-Man. Well, okay, you're right. It's not really Mrs. K-Man. It's really Eric. Eric just got back from Sweden, and all things went well. That's all I can say about that. You'll have to talk to him next week about that. I wonder if anybody got that. You know? All right. So anyways, I have all kinds of things to talk about tonight. I'm going to try to change it up a little bit because, you know, we had someone last week say to us, do we always talk about the same things? And pretty much, yeah, a lot of times we do. Now, the reason for that well, it's because we're not trying to bore you. We're trying to get across to some of you. We're trying to make some of you realize what's going on. It is not what you think. And I think a lot of you Democrats out there just don't care. You're sitting home, you're doing your thing. You know, it isn't really bothering you yet.
Not really, Mrs. K.
Where would that come from? So you're not really, you know, you don't care. But what happens is it starts to become to where things happen and then you can't take it back. Now they're talking about reissuing mask laws. They're talking about shutdowns again because of this new virus. Is it really a new virus? They're telling you all this stuff is happening, but you're hearing it from the people who, in my opinion, stole the election. Now, I'll hear a lot of shit about that, but I really don't care. But I've been hearing all kinds of stuff on how bad these vaccines are. And the companies are having to take back this and take back that. I think I got something on my phone that talks about Pfizer's having to do something because they messed up with something in some of the stuff they're using. You know, usually with stuff like this, you had to get, you know, it took a long time to produce a vaccine for anything. And you weren't allowed to test a lot of new stuff on humans. You had to go through the whole cycle. This is the first time in our history where this is like a big test. They're hitting everybody up with these vaccines. They're testing to see what's going on, you know, how it's going to affect, how much control they can have. It's just some scary stuff, folks. I don't know. I personally, it scares the hell out of me. And the more I read, the worse it gets. But other than that, all right. K-Man, you wanted to talk about plastic bags tonight. What's up with the plastic bags?
Oh, this whole thing with Connecticut and the plastic bag ban is I don't know.
What's it accomplishing?
Nothing.
Broken 1 gallon milk jugs.
Well, you shouldn't have used paper.
I have never used paper bags before, and I put a gallon of milk in a paper bag, and not even 5 minutes after walking, ploop, it drops out of the bag, and I'm like, this is useless.
But it didn't break.
The gallon...
That's because the gallon thing was made out of plastic.
Yeah.
You know...
So maybe we should start putting milk in plastic gallon containers?
You know how they make plastic bags? You know what the main...
Oil?
Or paper gallon containers?
Not oil, but it's along the lines of oil or gasoline or whatever the hell it is. It's stuff that they don't want us to produce in our own country. But it's a joke. Some places are still giving you bags, plastic bags.
Walmart.
How does Walmart get away with it?
Walmart beat it because the bag ban rules say that the plastic bag has to be a certain thickness and to be reusable.
Oh, really?
So the Walmart plastic bags are considered reusable because they're thicker.
And that's why they complied. But
And
once
that's why
they're
they-
gone, that's it. There is going to be no more plastic bags. You have to bring
But
your
you
own
know
bags.
what? You can go online, Amazon or somebody like that, and you can get a box full of bags thinner than what you were getting at the grocery store. So why do they get to sell the bags?
Walmart isn't selling them.
Not Walmart, online.
Oh, yeah.
That's because the government is in cahoots with these big tech companies. I was reading a whole story about how the White House is working with Facebook and Twitter to get rid of all not put stuff on their platforms that they don't like or the government doesn't like. So now they're controlling. Now they're picking and choosing what you hear. But yet, this is what I mean about when you don't pay attention or you don't care. I mean, pretty soon you don't know what you're hearing if it's true or not.
Dennis, tilt your mic up just a little bit. There you go.
I'm new at this, folks. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Really, the plastic bags is with all the problems we have in this country, this is what they're concerning themselves with. All right, I want to talk about sex offenders. There's nothing in this world that makes me more angry. Well, there's one other thing, but this is at the top of my 3 list. Sex offenders. The penalties they get for what they do is so ridiculous. I mean, there's a case in California where this guy did something to a little girl, sexually abused her, and he got 2 years probation. 2 years probation. But if this little girl's father had got his hands around that guy's neck, that guy'd be dead, and the father would be spending a hell of a lot more than 2 years probation. There's just something not right, folks. We are seeing things that have gotten us so immune to hurting people. You can get somebody busted for a couple pounds of pot, or you used to, and they could be spending 10, 20 years in jail, depending on what state they're in. But sex offenders, they get off easy? I mean, it's... The only reason this could be happening is that there's something going on to where they're trying to make it an everyday thing for kids to be abused, and nobody will care or think about it, like a lot of other things that go on in this country. Folks, some laws are got to be changed, and some judges are got to be fired when they pass down a law or an order to somebody saying, well, I'm going to give you 2 months probation for, raping a little girl. You got to be crazy. That doesn't bother you guys out there? Bothers me. I don't know. Oh, we got some... okay. Use boxes from BJ's instead of plastic. Thank you, Gina. Lady using her cooler for her food. That's not a bad idea. I like that idea.
I've seen that.
You have?
Yeah, customers come in with the freezer bags or their coolers and use them that way. Keeps the stuff still cold.
Now, I got a question for you guys out there. You can send me a message online. You can even call in. I'd like some of you to call in. You probably got stuff you'd like to talk about, your opinion on stuff. Hey, if you think I'm wrong, I'm a big boy. I can take it. What do you think about a mother with a child, real young, that is into drugs? There's no man in the house except for maybe where she's getting her drugs from, who's messing around with fentanyl, and then the little kid gets into the fentanyl not knowing what it is and then dies. What do you think should happen to the mother? You guys got any ideas?
She should pay the price.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you allowed your kid to get into that.
She got 11 months.
That's not enough.
11 months, and the little girl is dead.
That's not enough.
See, I got all these different things on my phone. This is how I get a lot of my stories. I have a really good contact. So, Pfizer halts distribution of anti-smoking drug Synatex after finding all kinds of crap in it. So, you smokers out there, this is what I mean about the vaccines. They're starting to find out a lot of stuff that these companies are putting in their stuff, and as long as they go along with the government and work together with the government, then they can do whatever they want. Jail, yeah, you got that right. Jail. She should get more than jail. I I don't even know where to go. Oh, okay. One I want to really talk about. I get in this big thing with K-Man over here about progress. I am not big on progress. So recently I had to start looking for a job. Of course, we all have to now. But you can't get any applications anywhere. So don't even try. You can't. You have to go online. Well, that's fine if you know how to use a computer. And I mean really know how to use a computer. If you're just an okay computer guy, you're going to have a tough time. Everything is online. Everything. You don't get to talk to a person unless they call you back. And some of the questions they ask you are so like off the wall. So if it wasn't for my beautiful wife, I would not be able to look anywhere for a job because I'm not computer literate. I mean, I am a little, but not enough for that. Now, the one thing this does is a lot of senior citizens aren't computer literate. There are some, probably more than some, but there's a lot of them that aren't. And if you're, say, the generation of where you've worked somewhere for years and years, and now you got to look for another job, and you don't know how to use a computer because you never had to with what you were doing, you're screwed. You really are. You aren't going to find another job. And then your unemployment runs out, and the next thing you know, you're in some deep stuff here. I really think there's got to be a better way of people to be able to find work than just online. And one more thing about the plastic bags. See, I jump all over the place. The more plastic bags you're going to use, the more trees you're going to cut down. So remember that, all you people that are for nature and along that line. I mean, it isn't easy. Somebody's throwing shit at me. All right. Let me see. So anyways, I almost threw my Apple computer. I don't know how many of you people out there have Apples. Not those kind of Apples. Apple computers. And think that you got the greatest deal going. You don't. You're paying for a name that can't live up to its
Potential.
what they claim that it can do. They want to be special. They want to make sure that nobody can get into their computers to do whatever. They change things on you when you least expect it. If you have a problem, it's not easy to get it solved. And if you're like me, when you go and you have your better half is like a computer whiz, and she gets in there and she does all this crap, and then she walks away, and then I go to do some easy stuff, and I can't even open the goddamn computer. I almost threw the freaking thing out the window. And many a times I threaten to throw it out the window. Don't buy an Apple. You're paying for a name. It's not going to live up to what you think it is. It's just, for what you spend on an Apple computer, you can buy 2 really decent computers. And I don't know if people believe me or not, but... Well, yeah, you're right. Phones are shit, too, and that's back to... that's back to the unemployment thing. You know, I really don't know what's going to happen when we reach the point of everybody's running out of unemployment. There's a ton of friggin' jobs online, I grant you that, but what you have to go through, and some of them, you know, it's just, you're not going to make the same money. If you were making decent money at your last job, I worked 21 years in my last job, and I was making decent money. There's not many jobs that are going to pay me that.
No.
So how far can I go with unemployment if I don't have to take a job making a lot less money. It's just a joke. I don't know, folks. Between that and this moratorium there on rent, stuff like this, that the people were getting their rent so you couldn't evict them, that's going to come to an end. And when it does, what are they going to do then? You're going to have all these people that are going to be getting evicted. That, you know, how do you get another apartment when you get evicted?
You can't.
So you're going to have even more people out on the streets. You're going to have families out on the streets. So this whole idea of giving all this money to the people instead of the landlords, it's going to backfire. What's Biden going to do then? Is he going to give away more money and more money and more money? You know, pretty soon we're going to owe so much money to China that they're going to be able to just come over here and foreclose on the United States. That's it. It's our country now. You got no money to pay us back. Time's up. Well, you know, how do we stop that? And I feel bad for some of these people. Partly bad, because some of them, if they had a half a brain in their head, would have made sure they kept giving money to their landlord every month. Maybe you couldn't afford the whole amount, but if you're getting extra $300 to $600 a week on your unemployment,
That should go towards your rent.
it should have. What they should have really done, though, guys, is they should have made sure the money went right to the landlords, and then they wouldn't have this problem at the end. But no, you know, they want the vote so bad that they're giving it to the wrong people, or they were. So we'll see what happened. So as you know, in Connecticut, they're talking about upgrading the rail system. They want to spend $117 billion, and it should pay itself off or reach its potential by 2036. Does anybody know what's going to happen between now and 2036? I don't. So, and this is all because they want the train to go faster between Connecticut and New York. Now, the reason these, what are those fast trains called? Begins with an A. Well, you know which one's the name.
Excella.
Yeah. These trains can only go so fast because there's not enough space for them really to accomplish much between towns along the coast, between here and New York. So I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish by doing that. And you know why they're doing this? Are you ready for this? All right. They're doing this because they want to save a half hour on the trip to New York. A half hour. $117 billion to save a half hour. What is wrong with you people that go to New York for work? You can't get up a little early and enjoy that half hour ride, nap, or do some of your work before you get to work? I don't want to see $117 billion go into the rail system just so that you can get to work a half hour later. This is crazy. But they'll probably do it. All right. So let's see. What's my friend saying here? What about people with Social Security disability? They have to work. No. Not that I'm aware of. They don't. Because they got a disability. And you'd be surprised what some of these disabilities are. I had a friend of mine whose mother was in this, some kind of a home because she had disability. And there was a guy living in that home who had disability. And you know what his disability was? He was an alcoholic. They didn't try to clean him up, but that was his disability. I mean, there's a limit.
How is that a disability?
I have no idea. I don't know. I guess
to be an alcoholic.
it is. I know. Well, there's a lot of things people have a disability for that they choose to be for it. Okay. For you New London folks, they're going to be spending some money. Well, they ain't. I don't know if it's a grant or what, but they're going to be working on the roads again. They're going to be repaving. Some company, Lynch Paving. Let's see, they're going to start on Wednesday, and they will start at Broad Street. Continue to Dove, then Georgiana, Cape Ann Court, Cedar Grove, Elm, Ashcraft, and Blackhall Streets. So you'll be seeing signs going up shortly telling you not to park. I don't know where you're supposed to park, but you're not going to be able to park on the street. But at least they're getting done. I tell you, one of the worst roads in New London. That's what I like. I like to see you guys send in some stuff on what you think one of the worst roads in New London is. I myself think is Jefferson Avenue up by the graveyards. Now, I don't know if that's a New London road or if it's a state road. So, but to me, that's one of the worst. So the other night, down at Ocean Beach, late Sunday night or early Monday morning, somebody went in there and did $4,000 worth of damage on the water slide.
I read that.
You don't have anything better to do? I mean, they should... They should catch the people that did this and make them go around and clean the streets 8 hours a day in all kinds of weather, 7 days a week. Or you can go to jail. Your choice. This is crazy. People, when I was a young kid, I'd done some stupid stuff, but I never vandalized anything. I don't know, maybe because I figured, hey, what I had to work hard with, hard to get, and, Alrighty, I see. Some take a helicopter from Long Island to New York. Well, yeah, that's cool, as long as it
If you
doesn't
got
crash.
the money.
All right, so here's an article I found. It says, U.S. military needs recruits.
They're hiring again.
And part of it is because they're going to bring them back from Afghanistan, 800,000 American service members. They claim they need 150,000 new recruits every year. And they say at least 70% of the Americans between 17 and 24 are ineligible for military service due to obesity, mental health issues, past drug use, criminal records, and lack of high school degree. Okay, so let me clear this up for some of you. Criminal record, that's one of the things they should do with some of these people that are in jail that have they didn't commit a serious crime. Even marijuana people that were in jail. They should be put in the service. That will straighten their ass out. Lack of a high school degree. You don't need a high school degree to point a gun. You don't need a high school degree to save somebody or to help out. That is just, that's stupid. You can train them, give them a high school degree while they're in there. Past drug use, key word here is past. I was involved in that shit when I was a young teenager. Don't do it anymore. You put them in the service, even if it's, a short time since they've been off the drugs. And believe me, they'll clean up. Mental health, they might have a point there. Due to obesity, this is an easy one. You bring them into service and you send them to boot camp. And I'm not sure how long boot camp is anymore. I think it's like 90 days, but I could be wrong. But I bet you when they come out of boot camp, they're not obese anymore.
Last I knew, it was 6 months.
That long?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then stick them in the service. As far as illegals go, I'm sure a lot of them be more than willing and happy to join our military. Make a deal. You sign up for 4 years or 6 years, and you fight for this country if need be. And when you get out of the service, you will automatically be a citizen. What's wrong with that? They'll be doing something. They won't be living off for free. To me, that sounds like a good plan. Do you know in Israel, and probably other countries too, when you get out of high school, you automatically go into service for 2 or maybe 4 years. And it's automatic. You have no choice. Well, I'm sure if you're rich enough, you might get out of it. But most of the people are out of high school, they go into the service. We should really do that here. You'd be the reason I say that, one of the reasons is because you can tell the difference between a young person that's in the military and a young person that's not.
Their attitude.
And their attitude and the way they talk to you. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. Can I help you, ma'am? Can I help you, sir? That's military. The other ones that say, go screw yourself. I ain't help you. Hey, old man, get out of my way. That's the ones that aren't in the military. Those are the ones that should be put in the military. So I don't know how you feel out there about that. I personally think it's a great idea. And if I was president, I'd make sure everybody out of high school ended up. Now you can say, well, what about the people with a college degree? Well, if you got a college degree, you must be doing something right. But once you get out of college, you got to go into service. Or you take a break for 2 years, and then you go back to college, which would probably be even a better thing for you, because how many people go to college? How many of you out there that went to college thinking you wanted to do one thing, and you spent 2 or 4 years in college, and you still don't know what the hell you want to do? Or you come out, and what you thought was going to be a big paying job turns out to be hardly anybody does it anymore. So then what do? Now you got all these college loans, and believe me, Biden didn't take away paying for your college loans, so don't go down that road. You're still paying for them. Every once in a while, I got to check my board because I can't see shit. We're back. We're still in the helicopter. Okay.
And the most training you get is in the Marines, and it's 12 weeks. Navy is 7 to 9 weeks, and Air Force is 8 to 5 weeks.
Oh.
And Army is 10 weeks.
I can't imagine. You know, I see the Air Force stuff, and I see these planes, and I see pictures of the inside of them and stuff, and I say to myself, how the hell do you learn how to fly a plane? A jet, especially.
Video games. Ask Keith.
Well, probably a lot of it is simulated.
Right, Keith?
What?
Video games.
How do you? You're learning to fly, okay, man. How do you? Isn't it overwhelming when you're looking at like the?
No, because I spent so much simulator time that when I got in a real thing, I was able to fly without a problem.
Even with a two-seater like that, you still do simulator?
He told me about the time somebody said to him, "Where'd you learn to fly?" A video game.
Well,
a flight simulator.
True. Yeah, but
flight simulators are no joke.
No,
I mean, it taught me all the instruments and everything else I needed to know, and practiced keeping level flight and landings and takeoffs and navigation, all kinds of cool stuff. So my buddy, who goes flying quite a bit, has me go with him when he takes photos because I'm able to take control of the aircraft and maintain an orbit around a particular target so he can get the photos.
Have you ever done the takeoff and landing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He does touch and
You're
goes.
a braver man than me. I used to fly back and forth to Fisher's Island when I was a young guy, and we've had some crazy pilots fly us a 6-seater, and sometimes we'd come home and you couldn't even see the friggin' runway. You had to follow this little stream. Mm-hmm. This is at the Waterford Airport when it used to be there.
Yeah, you have to follow this fine yellow line.
Yeah. Anybody see the stream? What? What do you mean? See the stream? And then
it's called IFR, Instrument Flight Rules.
Then sometimes you'd either come in over the houses, or take off over the houses, or you'd come in over the highway and take off over the highway.
And hope you don't crash.
And hope you don't crash. Which one time landing, we had a wheel get ripped off. That was real exciting. All right. So one quick note, folks. I wouldn't wait too long to see the Coast Guard Museum downtown, as much as I would love to see it downtown. Somebody just filed an objection with the DEEP against Downtown Coast Guard Museum. I'm sorry to say, this ain't going to happen. It's too bad, because it could have been something really good for downtown. It would have meant a lot of, sacrificing and a lot of inconvenience for a while, but I really honestly thought it would have been a good thing. But it's just a lot of people out here don't want it, and it's been, probably 10 friggin' years since they tried to do this. They claim they can't get enough money. They need $100 million. They got 20 so far, or possibly 30 from the state of Connecticut for that stupid bridge, which they don't need that. But, with all the people that are into the military, with all the rich people, I mean, $100 million, can you imagine one of these guys going in space, or Zuckerman, or any of them people? What's $100 million to them? That's like me giving somebody a $10 bill. Mm. They could pay for this already, so there's something going on here why it's not being done. Either they got somebody that's supposed to get the money together that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And you also, I'll have to bring this back up in another session here, but you have people that are on a payroll for this museum, people like the president of the committee and so forth and so on, and these guys are making over $100,000 easy, and there's no friggin' museum. So people in London, I wouldn't hold my breath.
It's like the eminent domain, wasted space.
Yep. So there's another story here where Biden, like Obama, wants to close down Guantanamo Bay. And if they had their way, they would bring those terrorists and put them in jails in this country. They tried it once, and people were too much in an uproar over it. So what's he do? He transfers a Moroccan home. That's his big thing. One person sends it back. Now, didn't we learn from past experiences with Obama when he sent people from Guantanamo Bay back home? Where did you find them a month or so later? You found them back on the lines trying to kill Americans. We shouldn't be sending them back home. We should put them on in the middle of the North Pole with one frozen fish. How's that, huh? All right. You got to watch Biden, folks. I'm telling you. So, how many Italians we got in this town? How many people wish they were Italian? How many people after this headline would want to be Italian? And this is for real. I'm not making this up. Get paid to move to Italy. Yes, this region in Italy is offering new residents $33,000.
Wow.
Yes.
You could do a lot with that.
Yeah. And if you're collecting your Social Security, you can still move to Italy and they will mail it to you.
Wow.
And I'm sure the cost of living there is probably a lot cheaper than here. If I was a little bit younger, I might even check into this more. But I'm too friggin' old to move anywhere now. So, I got one more piece of paper. My wife turned me on to this one, and it really pissed me off. Poet, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Can you pronounce that guy's name?
Loretta's.
What is it?
Loretta.
Okay. Now, you would think that's a woman's name, right? Well, it's not. He gave a speech at the swearing-in of our new police chief,
Inappropriate.
Mr. Wright. Okay? Now, no. Give the guy a chance. Besides, I'd like you to do that to his face and see what happens to the top of your head. This guy is nobody to mess around with, this Mr. Wright.
Yeah, big, tough guy.
Yeah, he's big. You could punch him in the chest and you'd probably break your hand. He's a big dude. He's a black gentleman, and trust me, I would not want to give him any lip. It'd be yes, sir, no, sir. All the way.
I don't have no problem with the guy. I just feel sorry for him that he's got to deal with these corrupt politics in New London.
Well, right now the corruptness is in the council and unfortunately
And then
the mayor.
these city council members who are pushing for us to reduce our officers down to 80 officers.
Oh, less than 80. That's what they're supposed to do.
They don't even live in New London, and they're moving out of New London anyhow.
Now, so I read that somewhere, and I could have sworn in the charter you had to be a resident in New London for a year, at least a year before you could be on the city council. I know it's at least a year before you can run for mayor, but they'll probably try to change that too. I wish somebody would text me or something and let me know, because like I said, I could have sworn I got the charter at home. I'll have to look it up. I didn't know that that the councilors there was any that didn't live here. I thought they all lived here. You have to have, and I know department heads don't live here, and they should. Now people say, well, you can't get the experience, so you got to go outside of the city to look for it. Well, how would you know? I've never seen them search for anybody. And you probably got a lot of people that know how to do this kind of stuff that don't want anything to do with it because of the corruption and because of the crap that's going on in our city. This city council, all you groups out there that you think this city council is helping you, they're not helping you. They're setting you up to fail. You take police officers away, and the people that need them the most are the people they think they're helping the most, and they're not. Where does most of your crime happen? And I'm sorry if that makes me sound like a racist, but I'm just talking facts here. Where do most of your crimes happen? In what kind of neighborhoods? And then you want to take the police away. That's crazy. Why don't we take our military away and let these other countries come in and take over? It's almost the same thing. But anyways, back to this individual. He's this poet. They were having like an inauguration type thing for the new police chief, and this guy was invited to speak. Now I don't know who invited him to speak, but I would have thrown his ass out before he got too far into his speech. But they didn't. So imagine being invited to give a keynote address for your alma mater's senior class. The big day comes. Students and families file in. You rise to the microphone, but instead of celebrating their accomplishments, you belittle them, call them lazy and underachievers. This is essentially what New London's poet did at the Chief Brian Wright's ceremony. With 200 in attendance, half of them cops, Joshua Brown designated us in a disgusting display of grandstanding. He told the story of a teen who recently received his permit and expressed fear for his safety, claiming that he was now in danger of being shot by the New London Police Department merely for driving while black. How else is he supposed to drive? No, I think I'll go out and drive today, green. Come on. I love that little kid. Brown called all police racist, went so far as to rattle off names of individuals killed by police, disguised as giving the team advice for driving. Don't reach in the glove box. Remember to keep your hands where they can see them. And then he mentioned it after each one, somebody that's been killed by a cop. The last one was George Floyd. Okay. On what should have been an occasion to celebrate law enforcement and accomplishments by the chief, Brown trashed police, blamed the NLPD for the sins of other cops throughout history, with the chief's family sitting beside him. He added insult to injury. Mayor Passero briefly commended the event to give Brown an award. Now, he may have asked him to show up because he was going to give him an award, but after this speech, he still gave him the award? I wouldn't have gave him the award. I would have booed him right out of the place. America's double standards was on display. The police must never be prejudiced, but prejudice against the police is tolerated and even awarded. Only in New London. Mm-hmm. Well, for us, it's only in New London. But, you know, and I haven't seen anything written, no comments from anybody. It's like nobody gives a shit on what happens in this city anymore. They just don't care. And the people see that are you know, causing a lot of hassles and a lot of troubles in this city. They see this, like this guy here, this poet. What did he think? He was... I just can't believe that. I really can't believe that. But that's New London for you.
You can't fix stupid.
Well, you might be able to spot being half Italian and half Irish, but you don't really have to tell them you're Irish. Oh, I have something here. Okay, how many of you out there got your motor vehicles tax bill? All righty. Now, when you get your tax bill, do you really, really look at it? I mean, really look at it. Do you know where the money goes? I imagine a lot of you do, but the Board of Ed gets the largest percentage.
What, 80%?
They get 46.2%.
Ouch.
General government gets 17.3%. Public safety gets 22.5%. Public works gets 7.2%. And debt services gets 6.8%. Debt services is what we owe and what we pay back. So the least amount that we do with our money is pay back our bills. Sounds real good. Mm-hmm. The one department that gets the least amount of money is Public Works. Do you know every time there's a budget, Public Works gets slammed? They're always taking money away from them. So you wonder why the city looks like trash. You wonder why wherever you go, you see garbage. There was just an article somewhere about how up at the high school, the new high school, how there's trash all over the place up there in the ball fields and all that kind of stuff. And they're wondering how come Public Works don't clean it. And then some people are saying, well, why don't you go up and clean it? Of course, people say, well, we have Public Works to do that. But we don't have Public Works. We don't have hardly anybody in Public Works. They don't have any money to hire people. So I come up with an idea, which will not make me the most famous or most likable person in the city of New London, but I really don't care because I know I'm not liked anyways. All right. I would say we'll go to low end. Take 1.2% from Board of Ed. Take, 2.3% from general government. Take 2.5% from public safety. And don't take anything from debt services. And that would come out to Public Works having basically over 10% instead of 7%. or if you want to really make people, suffer, that's really not the word I want, but they're always asking us to sacrifice. They're always asking us to pay more. Always, always, always. But the people that the money's going to, they got to sacrifice a little bit, and then we got to find a way to make that work. All right, so if you take the Board of Ed down to 40, general government down to 10, 10. Public safety, we'll just do the 2.5 because public safety is kind of important, depending on. That would bring public works up to around 17, something along that line. Folks, there's certain things that people look for when they want to move to a city, even if it's where they're going to work. They want to know the place is safe. They look to see what the crime rate is like in the city. That's most important. The schools are probably second, if not first.
Jobs.
Well, if they're coming here to work, then they got a job. But if they're coming here to live and they don't have a job, then they're probably not going to move here, except for maybe for EB right now. And then another thing is how clean your city looks. The only department we have that tries to keep the city clean is Public Works.
New London looks like a gigantic trash can.
Sometimes you're right. Sometimes it does. I mean, I went down to City Dock sometime back, and before I went in there, I was leaning on the railing over the rocks, looking out at the water, and I looked down on the rocks, and there's garbage everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't think one kid from high school this year got a summer job. They used to get summer jobs. I can't remember the last time I heard about them getting summer jobs. And the city would pay for them to do certain things around the city. Why can't you get these kids to go around, drop them off, pick them up, whatever, and have them pick up garbage? And they can get some credits for it, or they can actually, make some money. Keep them out of trouble. But no, council don't even think about that. It's, we need to do something, because I'm going to tell you, if I didn't know anything about this place, New London, and you can't go by what the people that live down by the beach think, because they make sure their area is as clean as possible, and there's spots there that aren't that clean. So, if the public is not going to go out there and help these guys and pick up garbage or broken bottles, then Public Works has got to do it. And we just don't have enough. You got to stay away from picking on Public Works. Take the money somewhere else. Instead of can't do that here. But anyways, alrighty. Wow, time's flying. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you some stuff that I found online. All right, so you heard about in Texas they passed a new voting bill, which actually was a pretty good bill. It actually made some things, more time to do certain things when it came to voting. But the Democrats didn't want any part of it. So they all got on a plane, 2 planes they chartered. You paid for them 2 planes. And they were taking selfies of them on the plane, laughing and, joking and drinking and all that stuff. And they went to Washington, D.C., so that they weren't in Texas at the time the vote came up. That's the people you voted in Texas to vote to represent you. They run away from it. So they came back, and they were threatened with going to jail. I don't know if any of them actually went to jail, but the governor of Texas was going to have them arrested upon return. But karma can be a real bitch sometimes. And 5 of them that came back that were already vaccinated came back with the virus. Yep. Don't mess with God. And there's a cartoon I seen on in the paper. Well, not in the paper, online. And you all heard that George Floyd?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How he had a mirror of his face on the side of a building. And I swear to God, this really happened. They had a big storm, and lightning came down and blew his whole face off that wall. It didn't destroy the store that it was on, and it didn't get to the inside of the wall, because it was like a double wall. Just the cement part of the wall on the outside it blew his whole face right off. There's nothing there now.
Dang.
So this cartoon on Facebook shows a picture of God up standing on a cloud, and he looks down and he says, I said to you, do not come to me with false gods. What part of that didn't you get? Get it? And I thought it was funny. People have no sense of humor. All right. Let's see. Let's see what this one says. People who spent 4 years obsessing over Trump's taxes always seem to be okay with Nancy Pelosi's inside trading. Yeah, you think? I don't know. I don't think politicians should be able to do any inside trading. I don't think if they have a hot tip on a stock or something, I don't think they should be able to invest in it at all. They shouldn't be able to do that. And even if it's one of your family members, your wife or your husband or whatever, you should not be able to do that because you're going to do it before anybody else gets a chance. And you're going to make millions of dollars like Pelosi's husband does. She turns him on to something that's going to happen. He invests in it. And next thing he knows, he's worth multi-million dollars more than he already is. That's not fair. Well, Gina, you can always fake it and get into Italy. Probably love it in Italy. All righty. Is this not a little bit different than what we usually do? Oh, there's a blues band in Waterbury, Connecticut, reforming. Needs a singer, guitar player, and drummer. Do we have any guitar players and drummers and singers out there? All right, but that's not really what I wanted to continue with. All right. So I talked about the mother whose baby died from messing around with fentanyl, who should be put in jail for a very, very, very long time. How do you feel about if a drug dealer sells drugs to somebody and that person dies because of that drug? Should that person that sold them the drug be held accountable? Think about it. All right. You know, you guys can jump in on us. I got a couple people here jumping in on this stuff, and they come up with some pretty good stuff. Oh, jeez. I mean, some of this stuff just makes you, well, I would say pull your hair out, but obviously I can't
Shake
do
your
that.
head.
Yeah. They have no common sense. Therefore, anything that's recommended can't be taken seriously. Children age 2 or older should wear masks in the schools regardless of their vaccination status, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, whatever you say.
But I thought by law you can't. I mean, that comes in play with, like I heard today at work. By law, you can't ask people if they've been vaccinated.
Well, supposedly you're not.
You can't force them to wear a mask.
Yeah, you know, your medical history is private, but
Yeah. Or supposed to be.
I honestly think that these masks are a joke and they don't do anything.
do you know 60% of people are being submitted to the hospital in the UK that have already had 2 shots? I tell you, it's a big experiment, is what it is. All right, I know there's a little bit of dead air here, but you'll get over it. Give you
You're
a chance
fine.
to go to the bathroom. All right, isn't it ironic that people in Iran, Hong Kong, and Cuba are displaying the American flag as a symbol of freedom? At the same time, there are people here offended by it. So I think we should switch them. Anybody in a foreign country that's waving the American flag for freedom, we'll bring them over here, and then we'll take all these idiots we have that are offended by the flag, and we'll send them to those countries.
Cuba.
So if we take 2 people from Cuba, 2 of those people go to Cuba.
Let me tell you something about Cuba. You know what Cuba's doing right now? They're jamming ham radio frequencies.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want American ham radio operators will talk to Cuban citizens on ham radio
They don't want
because
anyone to know what's going on there.
Nope.
yeah.
Because it's all secret.
But Cuba is actively right now jamming 40 meters, which is a ham radio band on HF HF frequencies, high frequencies. And Cuba is jamming these amateur radio frequencies right now, stopping many amateur radio operators, even in America, from having conversations.
Well, you know, at first when this started happening, the Democrats were all happy. They wanted to bring, they wanted to make Cuba a democracy, and they wanted to bring all them people here. But then they found out that most Cubans vote Republican. So now they don't want them to come here. They keep telling, well, I don't think you should take a boat over here. Well, they're not. They're going to Mexico, and they're coming in across the border. And now you wonder when you hear people talk about building a wall. You think it's because they hate people or whatever you may think. Whatever. But here's a good reason I would think to have a wall so you can control who's coming in and who's not. COVID cases among migrants in the Rio Grande Valley sector surged 900% as the border numbers continue to rise. If people are so concerned about the virus and want people to wear masks again, and you want to shut down things again, and you think you're doing what really needs to be done, or whatever your reasons for it are, then why aren't you doing something about the COVID that's coming in over the border? See, you guys are such hypocrites. It's incredible. Let's see what else we got. One of these shows I'm going to do with nothing but jokes. Dirty jokes.
Oh, God.
Okay, it says, so this cartoon shows a guy opinion polls at some lady's house.
Talking
to your
mic.
I am talking into my mic. What should we do with people who rely on government handouts? It's hard to read this stuff, but are too lazy to work. Kick them out of Congress. I like that one. Alrighty. Why does it keep doing that?
Is that an iPhone?
No. It's an Android.
I would never have an iPhone.
He just said he hates
I'd
iPhones.
smash the shit out
He
of it.
just said he hates Apple.
So this is what I was talking about earlier, folks. Biden administration admits to helping control what you're allowed to know. They're in cahoots with Facebook and Twitter and I don't know what other ones.
Facebook has been a pile of shit lately.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something about Facebook.
They're involved. The government is working with them. The government is telling them. And Zuckerberg, he don't give a heck. He's got so much money, he don't need to do anything the rest of his life.
Facebook has been banning people or restricting people's accounts for stuff posted over a year ago. A year ago.
I know.
Okay, we lost our Facebook page because of something we posted a year ago. They unpublished our page.
That goes to show you how far they will go to find something to shut you down.
Yeah, Facebook is... And then the Connecticut Department of Memes, a Facebook page has been restricted on their posts because of funny memes. Like, all these funny memes I see on Facebook have absolutely disappeared. I used to see some of the funniest shit on Facebook, and it's all gone because the sensitive bastards who report everything. There's people on Facebook that think it's like public television or something. Like, the internet needs to be restricted like broadcast radio. Can't say the F word, can't say this, can't do that,
but
can't
you could
post
in
that.
The beginning.
You can't do shit on Facebook anymore
you
because
used to be able
the
to.
sensitive
At one point.
assholes on Facebook report everything now.
They must have had a department labeled snowflakes when somebody applied.
You people who are sensitive about certain posts on Facebook need to take a gigantic leap off a bridge. Okay? You are ruining the internet. And furthermore, Facebook is not the internet. The internet is a bunch of websites and a whole bunch of other places other than your little tiny world. Facebook is not the internet.
But
The internet is far more vast than what Facebook is. Facebook might offer this and that, something else, or You know, you get to see all this
You
other
know-
stuff that people are posting. That's great.
You know who else you got to watch out for now besides Facebook? Is TikTok. TikTok is now
TikTok is also
that's from
banning
China.
people's posts.
that's from China. That's a China page that's infiltrating whatever. But do you know I was listening to somebody on TikTok was saying how black people were the first ones to ever set foot on America. They came from overseas and settled in America. They were the original Indians. No. That's not how it worked. And I don't mean any disrespect. I just have, so you'll know in the future, I refuse to say African Americans, all right? I mean, no disrespect by it, but you should be American first.
You know what I'm seeing on Facebook now? All I'm seeing on Facebook is I'm gay and I'm a woman now, but I still have a penis.
I know.
That's all I'm seeing on Facebook.
You see where over in Japan, they said it was okay for the weightlifter who thought he was a woman to compete against women?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started in that crap.
And it's getting too close to the end of the show to even get started. Now,
No, we
another
don't have to end the show exactly
Yeah,
at.
I know. But I was saying this earlier about sexual predators. The San Francisco judge let serial sexual predator walk. Now someone's got to explain this to me. In the interest of justice, he raped and beat up a 15-year-old girl. So they let him walk in the interest of justice.
Why? So you can do more?
No, what I'm trying to figure out is what the hell's wrong with people in California? It's like I said, if the girl's father was to have killed this guy for it, he'd be going to jail for a long time. I tell you, some of the stuff I find is like just freaking unbelievable. Here's another one. This is going to happen here, folks. I guarantee you, this is going to happen here. And remember, who said it? French President Macron issued 6 months prison decree for entering a bar or a restaurant without a vaccination or a vaccine passport. Proprietors who allow unvaccinated into their establishment face 1 year in prison and a fine of $45,000, whatever the hell they are. When I read this kind of stuff about the vaccination card and all that, maybe I'm really off base here, but it reminds me of rolling up my sleeve to show the number on my arm. It's unbelievable that it's come to that. I saw a story today about back in the day when we were all young, how parents had their kids lining up, hundreds of thousands of kids lining up to get polio vaccine. Now, that went that way because the parents are trying to save their kids. They could see the devastation from polio. There was no mistaking about what was happening. And we all got polio shots. I don't remember getting 3, but supposedly you got to get 3. It's not the same as now. This here is telling us a lot of things are happening, and then a lot of people have died from this virus, but a lot of people have died from so many other viruses. More in some places than others. And every year, we get some kind of flu or something coming back. Anyway. Alrighty. I don't want to do that.
Look at you pecking at your phone like a chicken when you got a computer in front of you.
Well, because I'm not that computer literate.
But you
He's more
peck.
phone illiterate. He's more phone literate.
These people who peck at their phones like chickens, don't know how
Well,
to
what
use
the
it.
hell-
They don't even know how to use a computer anymore.
So what am I supposed to do? Carry a computer around with me?
No, but
And
you
peck
have
at
a
it?
computer
Your
at
phone
home.
is a computer.
No, figure
I
out how
have
to
a-
use a
I-
mouse and keyboard.
I do not. I know how to do that. Not to the degree you do. But I do not have a computer at home. I have an Apple.
Could you
And
leave
you
some
just said you
seed
had an
over there?
apple.
Could you put some seed over there for him?
You know, you're not that far over there.
He's pecking like a chicken at his phone.
Would you like to see me pull these wires out? Big boy, say
You're becoming violent.
you're sorry.
That phone has made you a violent person who pecks like a chicken. Look at you. I wish I had another camera. Wait a minute.
Yes,
Look at
you
him.
know
He's
that-
looking. Look at him. He's looking down at his phone instead of at the computer and at the camera.
But then I wouldn't be able to see your your face. With your hat on backwards. I bet you got your pants halfway down your ass too, right? Right? And then you're gonna start saying when this is over, yo, bro, right? This is what I gotta put up with, folks. You know, that's why Eric, when he's here, I feel a little safer. Because,
Yo, what up, my white nigga?
Hey, don't say that.
Please don't.
Oh, Wendy. Oh, Wendy sent something.
What'd she say?
Oh, she posted this. She put it on my phone too. Oh, she wants me to come right home.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Why?
but it's a Beatles song, Nowhere Man. Is it real No Man? I can't.
We can't hear you.
I know because I can't read it. So, let me see. Yes, I can come right home. Not this minute though.
Wendy, he'll be home.
I'm almost
Don't worry.
excited with this.
Peck, peck, peck.
He'll be home, Wendy, I'm sure.
So this guy in Washington thinks that the GOP is the #1 national security threat, more threatening than ISIS or Al Qaeda or any of those folks. This is one of your representatives too, by the way. Let's see, pedophile again. So Pelosi's aide tested positive for COVID after he was vaccinated. Would have been nice if he
Pelosi?
gave it to Pelosi.
Oh.
Oh, this one, I think she probably will get kicked out of Facebook. All right, I'll probably get Facebook jail time for this. But I speak the truth. Just think what God is thinking, having so many people die because Fauci paid for a biological weapon that was released on the world. You know, they've spent over $17 billion for his department, for him to be what he thinks he is. All right, I'm almost done pecking. What time is it?
Is he really a doctor?
You're fine.
Nah, he just got a title.
No, his wife wants him home right now.
You heard her.
She's like, can you come home right now?
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know. It must be something important. He'll be home, Wendy, I'm sure. Because he's about to end the show.
So, folks, I hope you weren't too bored tonight. You folks that chimed in, I really appreciate that. Next week, Eric should be back. And I want to do a show sometime. Tell me what you think on dreams.
Ooh.
I'm a big believer in dreams.
Lucid dreams are incredible.
Yeah.
I think dreams can help you direct the course of your life. It can change things from happening because
also
your dream
scare
is
you.
telling you ahead of time it's going to happen.
It can also scare you.
Oh, very much so.
You need to look up something called lucid dreams.
Oh, I know what those are. I've had
They're
a few of them.
incredible.
Yeah, sometimes they're very scary. All right, and so I'm sorry I don't look up more at the camera because K-Man has to put it way the hell up there. Why, I don't know.
Otherwise, nobody can see
I
you.
want it down here. I'm not going to go on the computer and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I refuse. I'll keep my trusty phone because this took me 2 years to figure out how to use it. And as far as computers go, like I've said before, progress sucks. Don't let them tell you anything different. One thing to think about with progress and computers, how many people has it put out of work?
A lot.
All right. How many hungry people are there out there because they can't get a job because they don't know how to use a computer? So you think about that. while somebody that owns a computer company gets rich. All right, I'm done. Thank you, everybody.
I'm gonna tell you a little story about a place in Connecticut called Norwich. We all know what Norwich means. That's the place where all the crazy people used to hang out. Well, one time they had a place called the Norwich State Hospital where they kept all the crazy people from all over the world. And they were all stationed there just being crazy as always. And then they headed out north. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Well, at the time, we had a governor in the state of Connecticut that decided he wanted to save some money. So he decided he was going to close down this hospital and kick all those crazy people to the curb. Well, he did, and they started traveling north. North, you know, towards Norwich. Well, they just kept on moving. We didn't know where they came from. We didn't know where they were going. But they were here, all for us. Hey! The crazy people! The crazy people! The crazy people! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Woo-hoo. Well, while you saw all those people running out the front door, there was 3 young gentlemen running out the back door. They were the craziest of them all. Well, they were a group called the White Man Down Group, and they were heading down to their local pub to play some really shit-ass kicking music. 'Cause that's usually what they played, and that's what got them stuck in the hospital to begin with. They're playing that funky-ass music. Hey! The crazy people! The crazy people!